My beloved child, do not skip this message. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is a reason you found this moment. There is a reason these words reached your eyes today. What you are about to hear is connected to a gathering, a conversation, and a story that unfolded when nobody expected it. Picture this carefully. An ordinary day suddenly became unforgettable. A family gathering was taking place. Nothing about it seemed unusual at first. People were talking, laughing, sharing stories, and moving from one conversation to another. It looked like any other gathering. It felt like any other gathering. But hidden beneath the surface was something nobody saw coming. And that unexpected moment involved your person. Stay till the end. Because the deeper this story goes, the more surprising it becomes. At first, your person arrived carrying thoughts they had not shared with anyone. They smiled when others looked their way. They answered questions. They listened. They participated in conversations. Yet inside, there was something they could not stop thinking about. Someone. A connection. A memory. A feeling. And as the gathering continued, that feeling refused to leave. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Hours passed. Conversations shifted. Different topics appeared and disappeared. Some people discussed plans. Others talked about changes, opportunities, and future dreams. Then something happened. A question was asked. It was not a dramatic question. It was not even meant to create attention. But somehow, it changed the direction of everything. The room grew quieter. People listened. And your person found themselves thinking about you once again. Not because someone forced the topic. Not because anyone planned it. But because your presence already existed in their thoughts long before the gathering even began. That is what makes this story so unexpected. You see, there are moments when life quietly moves pieces into place without anyone noticing. A simple conversation becomes important. A casual comment becomes unforgettable. A passing thought becomes impossible to ignore. And that is exactly what started happening. The energy of the gathering slowly changed. People began sharing meaningful stories. Stories about trust. Stories about connections. Stories about people who entered their lives at the right moment. And every story seemed to pull your person deeper into reflection. Deeper into memories. Deeper into thoughts they had tried to organize for a very long time. Stay till the end. Because this is where the story begins to reveal something important. As everyone continued talking, your person started paying attention to details they normally would have ignored. Words stood out. Advice stood out. Even small observations suddenly felt meaningful. It was as if the gathering had become more than a gathering. It felt like a mirror. A mirror reflecting thoughts they had kept hidden. The surprising part? Nobody around them realized what was happening. Nobody knew the silent journey taking place inside their heart. Nobody knew that every conversation seemed connected to a much bigger realization. And yet the signs kept appearing. One after another. Almost as if the day was guiding them somewhere. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came a moment nobody expected. A relative shared a story from years ago. A story about recognizing value before it was too late. A story about appreciating someone who brought light into difficult moments. The room listened. Some smiled. Some nodded. But for your person, the story felt different. It felt personal. Very personal. Because certain words reminded them of things they had never fully expressed. Thoughts they had carried quietly. Feelings they had struggled to describe. And suddenly, they found themselves wondering something important. What if some connections enter our lives for a reason? What if certain people appear not by accident, but by purpose? What if some stories are still unfolding even when we cannot see the next chapter? That question stayed with them. It followed them through every conversation. Every smile. Every moment of the gathering. And the more they thought about it, the harder it became to ignore. Stay till the end. Because the biggest part of this story has not happened yet. As evening approached, the atmosphere became warmer. People gathered closer together. The conversations became deeper. The laughter became louder. The memories became richer. And somewhere in the middle of it all, your person experienced a realization they did not expect. Not a loud realization. Not a dramatic realization. A quiet one. The kind that changes everything. The kind that arrives softly but stays forever. For a brief moment, they stopped focusing on everything around them. And instead, they focused on what truly mattered. The people who inspire growth. The people who create unforgettable memories. The people whose presence leaves a lasting impact. And once that realization appeared, it refused to disappear. That is why this gathering became so important. It was never just about family. It was never just about stories. It was never just about spending time together. It became a turning point. A moment of clarity. A moment of understanding. A moment that would remain in memory long after the gathering ended. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what happened next surprised even your person. As the gathering slowly came to an end, people began saying goodbye. One by one. Conversation by conversation. Memory by memory. The evening was ending. But something inside your person was only beginning. A new perspective. A new awareness. A new understanding. And as they left that gathering behind, one thought continued following them. One thought stronger than all the others. A thought connected to possibilities. A thought connected to the future. A thought connected to someone they simply could not forget. And that thought remained with them long after the lights faded, the conversations ended, and the gathering became a memory. But the story does not end there. In fact, what happened after the gathering is far more surprising than anything that happened during it. And that unexpected chapter is about to unfold. Stay with me. Because in the next part, the hidden conversations, the unexpected realizations, and the moment that changed everything will finally begin to reveal themselves. Something huge is waiting for you. A quiet truth was beginning to reveal itself. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. When the family gathering finally ended, everyone believed the story was over. People returned home. The conversations faded into memory. The laughter became part of the past. But for your person, the gathering had only created the beginning of a much bigger chapter. As they made their way home, their mind kept replaying certain moments. Not every conversation. Not every detail. Only the moments that felt strangely important. The moments that seemed to carry a message. The moments they could not explain. And the more they thought about them, the more one realization became impossible to ignore. Some things happen for a reason. Some meetings happen for a reason. Some people appear for a reason. And somehow, your person could not stop connecting those thoughts to you. Stay till the end. Because what happened next shocked even them. Later that evening, after the noise of the gathering disappeared, they finally found themselves alone with their thoughts. No distractions. No conversations. No interruptions. Just silence. And sometimes silence reveals more than words ever can. In that silence, your person started remembering moments they had almost forgotten. Small details. Small memories. Small experiences. Things that seemed ordinary at the time. Yet suddenly they felt incredibly important. The surprising part? Every memory carried a similar feeling. A feeling of connection. A feeling of familiarity. A feeling that certain people leave a mark that time cannot erase. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. As the hours passed, the realization became stronger. The gathering had done something unexpected. It had caused them to look at their life from a completely different angle. Instead of focusing on what was missing, they began focusing on what truly mattered. The people who brought peace. The people who inspired hope. The people who created unforgettable moments. And as those thoughts grew stronger, something shifted inside them. A new perspective appeared. One they had never fully accepted before. What if some connections are meant to grow over time? What if some stories are still unfolding behind the scenes? What if the most important chapters have not even begun yet? Those questions stayed with them. And each question led to another. Stay till the end. Because the next revelation changed everything. The following day, something unusual happened. Your person crossed paths with another conversation. A completely separate conversation. A different setting. Different people. Different circumstances. Yet somehow the same themes appeared again. Growth. Trust. Meaningful connections. Future possibilities. At first they dismissed it as coincidence. Then it happened again. And again. The same ideas kept appearing from different directions. almost as if life was repeating a message until it could no longer be ignored. That was the moment your person became curious. Very curious. Why were these thoughts following them everywhere? Why did every meaningful conversation seem connected to the same feeling? Why did every reflection seem to lead back to the same place? The answer was not obvious. Not yet. But they could feel it getting closer. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came a moment nobody could have predicted. A simple memory surfaced unexpectedly. A memory that had been buried beneath hundreds of other thoughts. And the instant it appeared, everything became clearer. Sometimes one memory can change an entire perspective. Sometimes one realization can connect pieces that never seemed connected before. And that is exactly what happened. Your person started understanding something important. The value of certain connections is often recognized gradually. Not all at once. Not instantly. But little by little. Moment by moment. Realization by realization. And the more they understood this truth, the stronger their awareness became. It felt as if a puzzle was slowly coming together. A puzzle they did not even realize they had been solving. Stay till the end. Because the biggest revelation is still ahead. Days may pass. Circumstances may change. People may become busy. But some thoughts refuse to disappear. Some memories remain bright. Some feelings remain meaningful. And that was exactly what your person discovered. No matter how much life moved forward, certain reflections continued returning. Not because they were forced. Not because they were planned. But because they mattered. Because they carried meaning. Because they represented something valuable. And when someone begins recognizing value, everything starts changing. That is what was happening. Quietly. Gradually. Powerfully. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Then one evening, while reflecting once again, your person experienced a realization that felt different from every realization before it. It was simple. Yet unforgettable. They realized that life often works behind the scenes. Long before people notice results. Long before answers become visible. Long before stories reveal their purpose. Things are already moving. Opportunities are already forming. Paths are already connecting. And that realization brought an unexpected sense of peace. For the first time in a long while, they stopped worrying about every unanswered question. They stopped trying to force clarity. They stopped trying to understand everything immediately. Instead, they trusted the process. They trusted the journey. And that trust created something remarkable. A sense of certainty. Not certainty about every detail. But certainty that some stories are still being written. Some chapters are still unfolding. And some revelations are still on their way. Stay till the end. Because what happened next was truly unexpected. A conversation would soon take place. A conversation nobody planned. A conversation nobody saw coming. A conversation connected to the gathering in a way nobody could have imagined. And when those words were finally spoken, they would create a moment that changed everything. The signs were already appearing. The pieces were already moving. The story was already advancing. But nobody yet understood where it was leading. Not even your person. And that is exactly why the next chapter becomes unforgettable. Because in the next part, hidden thoughts become spoken words, unexpected connections become clearer, and a revelation emerges that nobody expected to hear. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. An unseen conversation was about to change everything. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The days following the unexpected family gathering felt normal on the outside. People continued their routines. Life moved forward. Schedules remained busy. Everything appeared ordinary. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary was quietly developing. Your person could feel it. Not because they had proof. Not because someone told them. But because certain moments kept aligning in ways that were impossible to ignore. And then it happened. A conversation began. A simple conversation. One that nobody expected would become important. At first it seemed casual. Just a few words. Just a few observations. Nothing dramatic. Nothing unusual. But sometimes the smallest conversations carry the biggest revelations. Stay till the end. Because this conversation became one of those moments. As people talked, your person listened carefully. Not because they were searching for answers. Not because they expected anything significant. But because something inside them felt unusually attentive. Every sentence seemed to matter. Every observation seemed meaningful. Every story seemed connected to something larger. And then someone shared a perspective that instantly captured everyone's attention. It was a simple idea. Yet it carried remarkable truth. The idea was this. The most valuable things in life are often recognized long after they first appear. The room became quiet. People reflected. Some nodded. Some smiled. But your person felt something different. Those words stayed with them. They echoed in their mind. Again. And again. And again. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. The conversation continued. Stories were exchanged. Experiences were shared. Different viewpoints filled the room. Yet somehow everything seemed connected. Every story pointed toward appreciation. Every story pointed toward understanding. Every story pointed toward recognizing what truly matters. And with every passing minute, your person felt themselves seeing things differently. For the first time, they stopped looking only at the present. They started looking at the bigger picture. The entire journey. The lessons. The growth. The meaningful connections that shaped who they had become. And when they looked at that bigger picture, one realization stood out brighter than all the others. Some people leave an impact that never fades. Stay till the end. Because the next moment surprised everyone. As the conversation continued, an unexpected memory surfaced. Not from years ago. Not from childhood. A more recent memory. A memory connected to a feeling they had never fully understood. The moment that memory appeared, everything slowed down. The room was still speaking. People were still talking. But internally, your person had entered a completely different space. A space of reflection. A space of clarity. A space where hidden thoughts finally started making sense. They realized something important. Sometimes life places people on our path not to be forgotten. Not to become distant memories. But to teach us something meaningful. To inspire growth. To bring perspective. To leave a lasting impression. And that realization felt powerful. Very powerful. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. The more your person reflected, the clearer everything became. What once seemed confusing now felt understandable. What once seemed uncertain now felt meaningful. What once seemed ordinary now appeared extraordinary. And then came the most surprising realization yet. The family gathering had not been important because of what happened there. It had been important because of what it revealed afterward. The gathering had opened a door. A door leading toward understanding. A door leading toward awareness. A door leading toward a truth that had been quietly waiting to be discovered. And once that door opened, there was no closing it again. Stay till the end. Because what happened next changed the direction of the story completely. One evening, while reflecting on everything that had happened, your person experienced an unexpected feeling. A feeling of gratitude. Not because every question had been answered. Not because every mystery had been solved. But because clarity was finally beginning to appear. The pieces were connecting. The lessons were becoming visible. The journey was making sense. And with that clarity came confidence. Confidence that some things happen exactly when they are meant to happen. Confidence that some stories unfold at the perfect pace. Confidence that some connections become stronger through time rather than weaker. That confidence changed everything. Because once people begin seeing life through that perspective, they stop fearing uncertainty. They stop chasing immediate answers. They start trusting the process. And that is exactly what your person began doing. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came the moment nobody expected. A single statement was spoken during another discussion. A statement so simple that many people would have overlooked it. Yet for your person, it felt impossible to ignore. The statement was this. The most meaningful chapters often begin when you think the story is already over. The instant those words were spoken, something clicked. A realization. A connection. A perspective that suddenly brought everything together. The family gathering. The conversations. The reflections. The memories. The lessons. All of it. Every piece suddenly seemed connected. And for the first time, your person felt they understood why these events had unfolded the way they did. Not as random moments. Not as coincidences. But as part of a much larger story. A story still unfolding. A story still growing. A story still revealing its purpose. Stay till the end. Because the biggest revelation is still ahead. The signs were becoming stronger. The understanding was becoming clearer. And your person was beginning to see possibilities they had never considered before. Possibilities that inspired hope. Possibilities that created excitement. Possibilities that made the future feel brighter than before. And with every passing day, that feeling continued growing. What started as an unexpected family gathering had become something much more significant. A turning point. A catalyst. A moment that quietly transformed everything. Yet the most surprising chapter had not happened yet. Because soon, a realization would emerge that connected every conversation, every reflection, and every unforgettable moment into one powerful truth. And when that truth finally revealed itself, nobody would see it coming. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because in the next part, the hidden meaning behind the gathering finally begins to surface, the missing piece of the puzzle appears, and the story reaches a revelation that changes everything.